da por um monte de me senta cada para PROSA me sopre yo. The party is about to speak. Let's go and let's tell you. Saluta. Continue. Thank you very much. Commerce. The price, militants, actors, well-wishers, sympathizers, distinguished one and all. Comrades, by the way of introduction, I'm Comrade Toga Harris William Harris Toga. But people refer to me on the campus of the University of Liberia in the University community as a still Hindu Biko of the Revolutionary Avant-Garde Progressive Student Alliance of the State University. So, comrades, permit me to bring you fraternal greetings and salutations for the man who controls the Supreme Council, the Executive Committee, and the General Congress of the Revolutionary Avant-Garde Progressive Student Alliance of the State University. So, comrades, as you may be aware, and if you are not yet know, we will not be the one to moderate the entire press conference. But before we turn over the mantle of authority to the man who will preside over this press conference today, it is important to extend my thanks and appreciations to the press and also to militants and cadres of the Avant-Garde Progressive Student Alliance of the State University. So, the commitment here today is a clear manifestation of the raw courage and discipline that you are continuing to portray in the human student community. With not much ado, before I zoom in, comrade, the man who co-chaired the mobilization and recruitment committee of the ever-potent Avant-Garde Progressive Student Alliance of the State University. So, it is also important to acknowledge you to continue soldiering, to continue being committed, to continue being steadfast at the fight of egalitarianism, at the fight for social justice and economic freedom. Is not a fight. It's not a fight to only televise, but it is a fight that man should put their wisdoms and courage to work. So, comrade on that basis, I will now zoom in the man who co-chair the recruitment and mobilization arm of the ever-potent Avant-Garde Progressive Student Alliance of the State University. So, in person of Comrade Adeola Warimukowe. Comrade, you're my honor. Yo, you play with the Jetta band on our party. Yo.
And so, thank you ever so much. And let me say thanks to Brother Steve Bantu Biko, who is known as Toga Harris. And it is my emblem pleasure and paradisiac rendezvous to see thousands of young intellectuals, foot soldiers, gladiators, men and women who have made it their duty to have their presence felt here today at the office, at the headquarters of the Revolutionary Avant-Garde Progressive Students Alliance at the University of Liberia. So, comrades, I am gratified, I am joyfied and overly exasperated that today I have been selected among thousands thousands of brilliant scholars, among thousands of intellectuals, paratroopers, to serve on this press symposium as the moderator. By the order of extinction, I am a student, I am an ideologue, I am a cadre, I am a militant. I am Richardson Jaramware Mukobo, the man who presides as co-chair for mobilization and recruitment of the Revolutionary Avant-Garde Progressive Students Alliance all in Liberia. Comrades and friends, distinguished press, audience, may you permit me to bring you warm fraternal greetings, to bring you well-packaged and enveloped in egalitarianism. A warmness greetings from the man who presides over the tripartite sections, over the triangular and the multilateral sections of Africa, biggest, fastest growing mass-based pan-Africanist revolutionary movement, the most sophisticated, the most vibrant, the most astute, the undefeatable, the unchallengeable, the indomitable, the insurmountable, never run out of men and ideas. The Revolutionary Avant-Garde Progressive Students Alliance and Liberia. A person of leader and teacher, an arrowhead, a battlefield commander, a person of head of W. Mike head of W, the man who has read all of the majors, including all of the minors, the man who has indoctrinated and inculturated himself in reading the revolutionary scriptures, the intellectual guitars and the political surahs, the man who has led but multiplicity of struggles, and I remember him very well. In fact, he's been recorded and been remembered in the revolution as Raul Castro, the brother to Alan Fidel Castro, who fought against the dictatorial regime, the marionettic kleptomania regime of Fulgencio Batista in the early 1958 that led the July 26th revolution that brought the people of Cuba today to where they are. And let me recognize you, Honorable Chairman, you have a revolutionary salute, my undiluted support and my unfinishing support to your chairmanship. And let me also recognize all of the fighting forces, militant in disguise and militant in extension. Solidarity others, we want to say to you, you have our unfinishing support. And so quickly, let me officially invite to this press symposium members of the press, members of the youth and student community, members of an exoteric institution, members of the ecclesiastical institution of our state, members of the University Faculty Association Alliance and Liberia. Will be speaking officially to the press. And so quickly to introduce the full bench, we have on our far right, currently seated, she is the female president chair of our party. And she in person of Jeremiah J. Joe. She's commonly referred in the revolution as Nidiga Martin, the woman who led the struggle in Angola. And so, on our far left, we have brothers seated well attired in full readiness. The man we normally refer to as Party 2. And he is the co-chair for operation. He is the co-chair for party affairs. And so, comrade leader Paul Wamoen, we want to say to you, you are recognized and you have our undiluted support. Next to Paul Wamoen, present seated, and From the look of the audience, she is glittering. Not to go too far to filibuster, let me introduce her quickly. She is Comrade Leader Annette Zauro, and she's called Albertina Sisulu, the mother of the revolution that fought against the apartheid regime in South Africa. And so with the men seated, well-attire, a general, a foot soldier, an ideologue, a satisfied and a convinced egalitarian, the man who was fully armed with the revolutionary weaponry, in full readiness to lead this all-important press symposium, seated is no one else but his brother and friend, an ideologue, Justin Jaraba, famously referred to as Martin Tambiso Chris Hanning of the revolution. And so on that note, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, I will now turn over the podium to Brother Chris Hanning, who is going to read the all-important press conference. Thank you very much.
Progressive Student Alliance, University of Liberia, Capitol Hill, Monrovia, Liberia, West Africa, May 16, 2022. Office of the Chairman. PROSA launches WAS and UL's entrance tutorial committee, calls on LINSU to conduct smooth and democratic elections in the interest of the youth and student community. Also, PROSA calls on the Grand Jury Legislative Caucus and the Liberia National Police to investigate the mysterious disappearance of Magistrate Alfred Duno. Comrades and compeers, Star Wars and comprados, enlightened nationalists and the growing intelligentsia, enthusiasts of social justice and academic freedom, intellectuals and accomplished egalitarians, ideological defenders of the massive struggle, conscious militants of PROSA, and the fellow universitarian veterans and well-wishing youth and student community, the never unrelenting crusaders of world power and true democracy. Make it warm and heartfelt revolutionary greetings, packaged in egalitarianism, from the trilateral sessions of Africa's biggest revolutionary kingdom of genuine consciousness, the reservoir of hope and the political enlightenment, the irresistible and insurmountable avant-garde progressive student alliance of the University of Liberia. Whereas the biggest student mass-based political party in the history of the University of Liberia taught us the basic revolutionary understanding of the Liberian liberation struggle in Africa as a whole, through educational gradualism, and as ideologues of this revolutionary teaching, our responsibility is to uphold, protect, defend, and support the ideological and philosophical doctrines of our institution, that is to ensure the rights of the ordinary student masses are not trampled upon. PROSA believes in the pursuit of academic excellence with the hope that with education we can realize that the improvement of the motherland and societal issues being curtailed as well. It is within this being, our institution, the Revolutionary Avant-Garde Progressive Student Alliance of the University of Liberia, has decided to commence a regular tutorial programs for students who have the desire of enrolling at the State-run university and high school students that will be setting WAS on the 31st of this month to enable them to make a successful pass as one of the countries with the highest illiteracy rate, which has paved the way to allowing more young people gravitating towards drugs and other harmful substances. Our institution believes that it is important to place strong emphasis on education, especially with our youthful population, which will have an overall positive benefit in post-war Liberia. Our institution has realized that over the past times, students have been faced with serious challenge and difficulty when it comes to making successful pass in some difficult subjects, including mathematics and English. Realizing that education is one of the major and fundamental pillars of any developed nation, we have engendered on an exercise that will help our students who are just coming out of high school, also those who graduated ever since but didn't have the opportunity to take the entrance. We ask everyone who has interest in taking this entrance to take advantage of this process. Henceforth, the party has decided to summon some of its best set of academicians to lead this process. The particular committee, chaired by Joe, Amara Sharif, William B. Sano, Emmanuel Topa, Ibrahim Sharif, John Kone, Flomo Masakwe, Mohammed Sharif, Toga Harris, Nicodemus Chua, Talo Rose, Luto in the thorough processes of LISU. As an institution that has followed the Liberia National Student Union and its politics, we are deeply concerned about the ongoing saga level playing field as it goes through its political process. We think from an institutional perspective, this institution must be the one calling for calm in the student community that may create conflict and not the other way around. PROSA as an autonomous revolutionary institution calls on the institution to conduct a free, fair, and transparent election as its objectives are very clear in Article 3 of the institution's constitution, where clearly states, as its principal objective, LISU, a representative national student organization, shall strive for and hereby resolve to serve as a uniting force of all students and students' institutions of the Republic of Liberia for the enhancement of their right and friendship, mutual understanding, and cooperating, leading to the security and protection of their general welfare, to secure conducive atmosphere for students, and also promote the autonomy of the educational system in institutions that will effectively provide forum for the scientific interplay of ideas.
Manda, 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 manda,
and as a source of leadership for economic, social, and political development, and as a center where the most basic assumptions and institutions of society can be placed in doubt without fear of repressal by any political, economic, or social responsibility to society, and to democratization of education as a real instrument in the conscientization of the citizenry for national development and liberation. To seek from a non-cultures of others to foster international understanding through the exchange of research information, students and student groups in the social, economic, political, cultural, and educational fields. We hope LISU focus on these objectives and take the institution to a free and fair election. Members of the press, the disappearance of an election magistrate in Grand County remains a major concern to the Progressive Student Alliance of the University of Liberia. It can be recalled that Alfred Dunner, an election magistrate, mysteriously went missing on Tuesday, May 3, 2022 in Johnson, now Clan, Grand County, where he was seeking traditional treatment. And to date, the living or lifeless body is yet to be found amidst the growing insecurity implications. PROSA believes that this is counterproductive and is a slap in the face of the Constitution of the Republic and Article 2 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which states, everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person. No one shall be held in slavery or servitude. Slavery and the slave trade shall be prohibited in all forms. No one shall be subjected to torture or to cruel or inhumane or degrading treatment or punishment. The Progressive Student Alliance of the University of Liberia also calls on the Superintendent Kaiji Fale, the Legislative Caucus of Grand County, and the traditional leaders to see reason to launch an investigation with immediate effect, as a single action has the propensity to threaten national security. As we strive in our endeavor to achieve an egalitarian society, we want to reaffirm our commitment in the struggle for social justice, academic freedom, and total equality for all. In the midst of superfluous contradictions, we refuse to remain tight-lipped on issues that impede the advancement of our people. In the final analysis, victory is certain. The struggle is not over until the trumpet of victory is blown. Long live the avant-garde progressive student alliance of the University of Liberia. Long live egalitarianism. Signed, William Sando, RDC, Chairman on the Intellectual Discourse Committee, approved by the most powerful man on the campuses of the University of Liberia, Common Revolutionary Commissar Hader Debimar.
Sando, where are you?
And so thank you ever so much, brother leader Justin Jaraba, Chris Honey, for the splendid deliberation. And so at this moment, we will usher in 3 questions from the press. Your question should be direct and 1 question each. So the podium is now open. Your name and your institution you represent. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Edwin Batafoyan, and I write and report for Cool 91.9 FM. My question have to do with tutorial they organized for our tour brothers that are wanting to write the upcoming WASP. That I want PROSA to take this time to kind of tell us how can the tour brother be in connection with the tutorial, when and if any fee attached to it, or will it be a free offer to the student body?
Thank you very much for that brilliant question. The Revolutionary Avant-Garde Progressive Student Alliance of the University of Liberia, as a neo-progressive campus-based revolutionary movement, it is not only our responsibility to identify contradictions, but it is also our responsibility to contribute our quota to the state. So we have realized over time in our society, and it has claimed our attention, the issue of the high illiteracy rate in our country. So, like a normal thing in our institution, we have decided again to organize a tutorial program for people who are desirous of not only taking the entrance of the University of Liberia, but also our high school students who will soon be taking the national exam. We want to say here through your medium, we want to inform the public that it has been spelled out in our press statement, and the information will be posted on the official page of our institution. We want to say that we call on the public and those who have interest in this particular process to take advantage. We understand that education is one of the fundamental pillars, and it is a sine qua non to the growth, advancement, and development of any nation. So we are concerned, especially when our society is at a point where we have majority of the young people gravitating towards what we refer to as narcotic substances or drugs. So we are concerned. So our institution has summoned some of our best scholars to lead this particular process. So we can assure them the last time we organized a tutorial program here, everyone who sat our tutorial program got a successful pass in the text. We want to say to you, as the only true resistance movement and the true blaze of advocacy on the campuses of the University of Liberia, that we have said that we have come to reclaim the moral grounds of advocacy. We say, gone are those days of gangsterism in student politics. we want to say to you that we call on the general public, we call on all those who have interest in the process to take advantage of the process, to follow the information that will be posted. And we will also post the information on the campus, and we will reach out to the various high schools to take advantage of the particular process and sit for the tutorial program. And we can assure you nothing but flying colors. So thank you very much.
Yes. Sylvester Tama, report for OKFM. I'm concerned on the issue of Lensu election. You call for free, fair, and transparent election. In case things fail to go in line with your call, what will be your next action?
Thank you very much. You see, the Liberia National Student Union, as the oldest student organization in the Republic of Liberia that got established by an act of legislation, is the mother organization of all the student groupings in this country. And we want to say to you, as the Revolutionary Avant-Garde Progressive Student Alliance of the University of Liberia, as an independent neo-progressive revolutionary movement, we are concerned in the process leading to the election of Lensu. We want to say here that we will not sit supinely. We want to say here that we will not play the role of a spectator to spectate the ongoing situation in Lensu. We want to call on the authorities of the Liberia National Student Union to hurry to take the student to a free, fair, and democratic election. We want to say here to you that the student of the Republic of Liberia are concerned, and Lensu should see this election as a litmus test to 2023. So we want to say to you that whatsoever that will be transpired, the way we conduct ourselves will inspire the national election in this country as we move forward to 2023. So we want to call on the authority, the requisite authority, to take the student to a free, fair, and democratic election. You ask a question, and if anything goes wrong, where we experience or witness anything like discrepancy or irregularities, I want to assure you here through your medium that PROSA, as a revolutionary institution, it is burning upon us. It is burning upon us at any point in time to always rush in defense of the defenseless people, to rush in defense of the student community. So we want to assure you nothing less than a free, fair, and democratic election. Anything that goes wrong, we can assure you that PROSA will make a definite position, and we can assure you that we will rally the forces, we can assure you that we will excite the bases, and Lensu will have to take the student to a free, fair, and democratic election. Thank you very much.
Okay, so let me just ask the question quickly. Sylvester, to the plate of Spoon TV. Concerning Lensu, there are a few members who raised a concern that other officials in Lensu are impersonating, like Eugene Toa Williams, one of the aspirants who wants to be president for Lensu, said the entire process that now gradually leading to Lensu election is not free and fair because Mohammed Gandhi Kamara, term got expired about 2 years ago, and he has allegedly failed to carry Lensu to election. So with Mohammed still being the acting leader of Lensu, do you still satisfied with the process? Because Eugene is asking that Ministry of Youth will stay controlling for the entire process.
Thank you very much. You see, in every democratic process, especially election, there will be competing forces. So you will expect people to give diverse opinions on issues. But what I want to say to you here is our call for a free, fair, and democratic election to the Liberia National Student Union is based on constitutional reliance. And it is the responsibility of the Liberia National Student Union to coordinate, cooperate, and consolidate the affairs of students in the Republic of Liberia. So like we said to you, we don't want any issue that will undermine this particular process. And our institution is very vigilant, and we are following everything that surrounds this particular process. So we want to say to you here that the leadership of Muhammad Gandhi, we are following that it has reached a point where Lensu should be taken to a free, fair, and democratic election. And if the institution if people are raising concern, and it is established that there is a vote of no confidence, in whosoever that presides over the process, then it means that we will have to call on national government to the requisite authority to take charge of this particular process, because we don't want this particular situation to plunge into any chaos, or we don't want any altercation to erupt in the student community as we move forward to 2022. So we don't want to call on the requisite authority, the leadership, to take the student to a free, fair, and democratic process. And just to chip in, our institution spoke to the press statement on a very important issue. Even though you asked your last question, but this is a matter of serious concern. And let me say to you here that the mysterious disappearance of the election magistrate in person of Alfred Donald has raised a serious concern. And as I speak to you, there is serious tension brewing in the country. And it is important that national government step in. This is not one of the situations that we overlook. Grand Judea County is a subset of the universal set, which is Liberia. We want to say to you that this magistrate in person of Alfred Donald got missing, and since then, it has not been established whether he is dead or alive. We want to call on the traditional leaders. We want to call on the legislative caucus of Grand Judea County. We want to call on the state apparatus to the national security of our country. Let me say to you, as we move towards the election of our country, we don't want any situation that will slide this country back in the arches. We don't want any situation that will plunge this country into chaos. For we have witnessed how people have used the situation in the country to benefit from the wreckage of our society, and we have seen how our society has degenerated to an underdeveloped level. Liberia is on the path of recovery. We want to use this medium to call on national government to take charge of this particular situation, to see how best they can bring the situation to a calm and still process.
Thank you first for watching the response
so
coming to you from the University
that we are following
Sylvester
revolutionary